Hey guys, what's going on? So look, if there has been one constant in the US construction equipment industry over the last 10 years, it's that demand for compact equipment is hot and continues to grow. In fact, most estimates place total compact equipment units sold per year at around 260,000 units as of 2022, with analysts expecting the market for compact machines to continue to grow by a compound annual growth rate in the ballpark of 5 to 7% over the next several years. Now, Manitou is a particularly interesting story in the grand scheme of the compact equipment market. Since its inception in 1957, the French company has grown into one of the top 10 equipment makers in all of Europe. And in the early 1970s, it started selling its telehandlers and aerial work platforms internationally. Today, 1 in 4 telehandlers sold globally is a Manitou machine. But look, by the early 2000s, the company knew that it needed a firmer foothold in the US compact equipment market, which was primed for growth. So in this video today, we're going to talk about how Manitou is still working to attain that firmer foothold here in North America, along with its renewed investment in the entire North American market, which includes a manufacturing expansion, a revamped branding strategy, and of course, new equipment. Let's dig in. Now, when Manitou Group bought the Gale Company in 2008 to expand its US footprint, you could say that the company was either crazy or crazy prescient. Now, the housing market had boomed so hard it busted at that time, sending the global economy into a free fall, and the US economy, and subsequently the US construction industry as a whole, into a world of hurt for the next several years. Now, despite the hardships that the Great Recession caused and the subsequent economic headwinds that it left in its wake, things did heat up again for the construction industry here in the US. And when they did, the compact equipment segment was absolutely set on fire, fueled by the growth of rental, labor shortages, and contractors' desire to tighten up their equipment fleets and prioritize versatility in those fleets. So with the purchase of Gale, Manitou added a brand to its portfolio with deep roots in American hearts and minds. Gale has been manufacturing farm equipment since the 1850s and skid steers since the 1970s. But Manitou's purchase also included the Mustang brand, which Gale acquired in 1997. Now, since Manitou acquired Gale, the Mustang brand has been phased out in favor of new Manitou branded equipment. And today, Manitou employs a two-brand strategy here in the United States, understanding that Gale customers are different from Manitou customers. Now, in marketing its products under these two different brands, Manitou is actually able to reflect the differences between those customers and their differences in geography and priorities. And though the North American construction equipment market is very mature at this point, Manitou believes there's actually still more room for a lot of growth, and that's reflected in those analyst forecasts that we mentioned earlier for growth through the end of this decade. But look, there's also a natural fit between the Gale and Manitou brands if you kind of zoom out. Now, beyond the fact that both of these brands have deep agricultural roots in their histories, Manitou sees the Manitou branded lineup of machines as complementary to the Gale lineup, because there are machines and machine types in the Manitou lineup that aren't present in the Gale lineup. And through the North American dealer network, composed of both Gale dealers and Manitou dealers, Manitou sees an opportunity to expand the options Gale customers have access to through that Manitou branded equipment. And because of that, dealers of both networks are actually equipped to serve customers of both brands, giving Manitou a major geographic advantage there. Now, last year, Manitou celebrated 50 years of building skid steers in the United States through the Gale brand, which it acquired in 2008. And it did so with the expansion of its Madison, South Dakota facility, where Gale and Manitou skid steer and compact track loaders are made. Now, this expansion of the Madison facility is going to be key in supporting the company's two-brand strategy here in North America. And that includes the introduction of a revamped lineup of skid steers and compact track loaders that span both the Manitou and Gale brands. All right, so let's get into these new machines. The new V-Series skid steers and VT-Series CTLs represent the first white sheet redesign for skid steers and CTLs for both the Manitou and Gale brands in North America since about 2009. Now, as Manitou got started on this project, it spoke with dealers and customers, and it circled 5 primary areas to focus on with improvements on these new loaders: serviceability, safety, simplifying operation, increased productivity, and increased comfort. Now, each of these new skid steers and CTLs are built atop mid-size frames, with operating capacities running from 2,100 pounds up to 2,750 pounds. Now, all of the new models are also vertical lift machines, hence the V and VT in their model names. The new vertical lift lineups give both the Gale and Manitou brands separate lineups of radial and vertical lift machines within both of their respective skid steer and compact track loader lineups. However, as a starting point in getting these new machines off the ground, Manitou based the rethinking of its new vertical lift skid steers and CTLs off of the 1650 RT, a radial lift path CTL that sits somewhere between the small and medium frame sizes. Now, the reason the 1650 RT was singled out is that Manitou has received rave reviews from customers and dealers alike, many praising how well this machine drives and maneuvers. So the platform of the new V and VT series machines mimics the nimbleness of that 1650 RT. And Manitou has made changes to the weight distribution of these new machines in order to reduce the overall weight while still enabling lift capacities up to the aforementioned 2,750 pounds at 35% of tipping. So a major result of these weight savings in the new machines is that they're going to be faster on the ground and therefore more productive with faster cycle times. Now, in fact, the 1650 RT that these machines are kind of based on as a foundation, that machine is so popular that it also served as the foundation for one other new Manitou machine, the new Manitou 1950 RT CTL. Now, while the V and VT series machines are considered Manitou and Gale's flagship medium frame loaders, the new 1950 RT is a simplified, nimble, and capable radial lift compact track loader without all the new features, bells, and whistles that we're going to talk about on these V and VT series machines. All right, so to start off things on the V and VT series machines, we're going to talk about a new lift arm design and increases to performance. Now, the unique shape of this new lift arm design slopes down and away from the operator on the V and VT series machines. Now, this sloped surface that it creates ensures that material like hay, silage, dirt, or stone cannot build up on the lift arm as you work. Now, there's another benefit to this sloped lift arm that seems subtle if you're looking at up close the lift arm itself, but once you get in the seat, this difference actually adds up to quite a big increase in visibility. That's because this sloped lift arm adds an extra inch to inch and a quarter of actual visibility to the ground in terms of like how much space the actual lift arm is occupying. However, when you're seated inside one of these new V or VT series machines, that space savings of 1 inch, when you project that down toward the ground, Manitou says that the result is an extra 2 to 3 feet of visibility next to your machine along the sides. Now, Manitou has also implemented greasable pins along the side of this new lift arm design, and that's going to allow you to walk along the sides of the machine and quickly grease the whole machine. And the change should cut greasing times in half. Now, on this new lift arm design, Manitou has also included LED lights mounted underneath each arm, and that's going to provide greater visibility for operators who are loading trucks at night. Now, moving on to improvements to the productivity side of these machines in general. Starting off, we have a fuel tank that is 14% larger, so you're going to be able to work longer with these machines. And breakout forces across the lineup are 12% higher on average compared to their predecessors. Now, to reach these higher breakout forces on each of these machines, Manitou increased the hydraulic pressure and hydraulic flow on each of these machines. They also increased the bore of the lift cylinder and repositioned both the lift and the tilt cylinders. Now, another major improvement Manitou has made to these new machines is to their serviceability. First, Manitou has implemented lift-up cab designs on these machines, allowing the entire cab assembly to tilt up 62 degrees. And one big advantage that Manitou has implemented with this lift-up cab is that the cabs tilt when the lift arms on the machine are either up or down. Plus, the cooler assembly also rotates up 28 degrees to give you unfettered access to the top and sides of the engine. And that cooler also has a removable panel if you need to wash it out. And if there's something that you need to access that's not on the front, sides, or back of these machines, Manitou has also placed 3 individual access panels underneath the machines that can be easily removed and reinstalled by one person after you work on what you need to work on. Now, moving inside the cab of these machines, the cab itself is 23% larger than previous cab designs. And this includes a new footwell that not only boasts more footroom, but also a drain plug that allows you to wash out the footwell with a hose to remove any debris that builds up. And that drain tube takes all the mud or other debris and drains it to the outside of the machine. But the big improvement is to the cab size itself, which also brings a 20% increase to operator visibility. Now, the way Manitou achieved these improvements is pretty interesting. So in the past, Gale and Manitou machines have been the only manufacturers to offer a standard cab with FOPS level 2 protection. Now, that means that the standard cab on these machines would protect an operator from a 500-pound steel cylinder falling atop the cab, compared to the level 1 protection of a 100-pound cylinder. And while Manitou was providing FOPS level 2 protection as standard, on most other competing machines, the standard cab offered was a FOPS level 1. And after speaking with customers, Manitou actually came to the conclusion that FOPS level 2 may have been a bit overkill as a standard option on the cab, as the customers that are actually in need of FOPS level 2, those doing mulching, ship trimming, demolition, etc., they usually need more than just roof protection anyway. And so even though it was nice to have that level of protection, the people that are actually going to use it were going to upgrade the machine in other ways anyway, with kind of lighting protection or, caging on the windows and stuff like that. So with these new V and VT series machines, Manitou has changed course. It's reduced the standard cab protection to FOPS level 1, allowing them to use a material that is a bit thinner in the construction of this cab. Now, that thinner material enabled Manitou to make a major design modification to the rooftop of these machines. So if you look at the area on top of these machines between the work lights, you'll notice that the middle section of the roof actually kind of slopes beyond and a bit lower than the work lights themselves. It's kind of like the bill of a cap. This forward sloping roof, which Manitou has actually applied for a patent on, it reduces the blind spot that runs atop of the cab whenever you're dumping trucks. So on a normal machine, that blind spot would be about 2 or 3 inches. But on these new Manitou machines, because of this forward sloping roof, that blind spot is actually reduced to only about 1.25 inches. Now, another big update brought by these new machines is that Manitou's fold-up door will be available for the first time on skid steers. This Manitou fold-up door combines the entrance, exit, and visibility benefits of a slide-up door that you see on other machines without the drawback of having to raise a heavy door completely over your head into the cab. Now, the way the design of these folding doors works is that there's a crease around the middle of this 2-piece polycarbonate door. That allows the door to fold in half and then stow above you, but not directly over your head. Now, the V and VT series machines also benefit from a new design of this folding door that has a narrowed steel frame for more visibility and an improved crease location. Now, Manitou has made that crease high enough to ensure that whatever the operator may be focusing on at the time, their bucket or attachment, is below the crease in their sight line. And when they're looking up, the crease is going to be below whatever they're looking at. Now, Manitou says that, for a lot of operators, the crease in the door does take some getting used to, a little bit of an adjustment period, but for most people, it becomes, it kind of disappears after you get used to it. Now, moving further into these new cab improvements, Manitou has also implemented a new simplified operator interface on these machines' 7-inch color display. Now, this improved interface includes keyless start and options within the display for easy customization of machine operations. Manitou has also implemented improved pilot controls on these CTLs and skid steers. Now, these new pilot controls actually bring a pretty awesome benefit that you typically see only on loaders with E over H or electrohydraulic controls, and that is that these pilot controls can move with the seat. Now, just to be clear, they are still pilot controls. They're not like a hybrid or anything like that. They're still purely pilot controls, and that means that while they do move with the seat, they still retain that preferred responsiveness that a lot of operators have in their kind of preference for pilot controls. Now, wrapping things up on these new V and VT series machines on the safety side, Manitou has lowered the cab opening by 3 inches closer to the ground to make it less of a trip point. In addition, they've added egress lighting, additional tie downs for trailering, and a machine lockout switch that allows you to keep the work group locked while unlocking your parking brakes. This means you can drive the machine without worrying about inadvertent movement of the lift arm or the bucket. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our discussion here of the new Manitou and Gale V-Series skid steers and VT Series CTLs. Now, these machines obviously represent an exciting new era for Manitou moving forward here in the U.S. market. When you combine all that kind of growth and hot competition between compact machines here in the U.S. and this renewed investment here in the region by Manitou, it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out as Manitou tries to go after and grab a little bit more market share for itself here in North America. If you're interested in these machines, be sure to check them out at your local Manitou dealer, or check them out, or Manitou or Gale dealer, and be sure to check out Gale and Manitou's websites online. And if you want more information on these machines, be sure to check out our website, compactequip.com. If you like this video, found it helpful in any way, do us a favor and hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos from us here at Machine Heads and Compact Equipment. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate the time. We'll see you in the next one.